Hello friends, my name is Dhanaji Khade and you are watching my YouTube channel English Developers. Now we are going to learn about one of the 8th standard poem, Be the Best. Class 8, Subject English. Poem name is Be the Best by Douglas Malloch. Be the Best is an inspirational poem penned by Douglas Malloch. He was an American poet and short story writer, and associate editor of American Liberman, which is an adventure magazine based in Chicago. Born in Muskegon, Michigan, which used to be the center of the lumbering industry, he was famously called as Liberman's poet. Brother Malloch, as he was known amongst his brother and friends, was brought up amidst the forest, logging camps, sawmills, and lumber yards. The poet was fascinated by the ingenuity, power, and sheer beauty of nature. His poem, Be the Best, shows how keenly he observed Mother Nature. The title of the poem itself reveals the meaning of the poem and its concept. He is trying to tell us that whatever we do, we need to be the best. He has used examples from the nature to convey his message. The poet wants us to know that no job is less important and we need not be ashamed of what we are. Although we all dream of doing great deeds and being at the top, that really matters is the contribution we make to the society to make it count. We must take pride in our job and accomplish it with our best effort. It's good to be the pine tree on the top of the hill, but you can still be the noticeable by being the best bush beside the stream, making the valley beautiful. The first stanza of this poem is in the first stanza the poet said that be the best if you can't be a pine. Pine means पाईनचा तो काय पाईनचा ट्री म्हणजे देवदार वृक्ष इथे दाखवलेला आहे बघा पाईनचा देवदार वृक्ष ऑन द टॉप ऑफ द हिल. हिलच्या टॉप म्हणजे बघा हिल दिसतंय इथे हिल म्हणजे टेकडीच्या वरती जर टॉप वरती जर तुम्ही प्राय देवदार वृक्ष बी इफ यू कांट बी अ पाईन बनता नाही आलं तर ऑन द टॉप ऑफ द हिलच्या टेकडीवरचं बी द स्क्रब इन द व्हॅली. काय बना तर स्क्रब बना. स्क्रब म्हणजे बघा इथे दाखवलेलं आहे बघा काय आहे ॲन एरिया कवर्ड विथ स्मॉल लॉ प्लांट्स और झुडपे असलेले ठिकाण लहान झुडपांनी व्यापलेला भाग इथे दाखवलेला आहे बघा या चित्रामध्ये. त्या पद्धतीने म्हणजे काय बनत बी अ स्क्रब बना इन द व्हॅली. व्हॅली म्हणजे बदली डोंगराच्या बदली बट बी द बेस्ट लिटल स्क्रब बाय द साईड ऑफ द रील. इथे बघा रील दाखवलेले स्मॉल स्ट्रीम ओढा. द रील बी अ बुश इफ यू कांट बी अ tree. Means into this stanza, poet said that the poet started by giving example of nature. The poet says that if you can't be a pine tree standing tall on the top of the hill, then that doesn't mean you are not worthy enough to be a part of the forest. You can always be the best scrub in the valley. Beside the reel, making the valley beautiful, the tall pine trees may form large forest, but without scrub by the side of the stream, the valley would lose its charm. So at least be the best scrub, if not a pine tree. He is trying to say that be the best employee if you can't be the boss. He further adds that if we can't be as strong as a tree, then at least be a bush. या पद्धतीने बघा. The second stanza poet said that if you can't be a bush, bush म्हणजे बघा इथे बघा दाखवलं आपण bush म्हणजे स्क्रब बघा. If you can't be a bush, be a bite of the grass and some highway happier make. If you are a muskie म्हणजे बघा या प्रकारचा मासा दाखवलेला आहे. muskie. If you can't be if you are be a muskie, then just be a bass. bass म्हणजे या पद्धतीने छोटा मासा बघा दाखवलेला आहे. बघा bass, but the loveliest bass in the lake. Into the stanza, the poet says that here he again says that if we can't be the bush, then be a tuft of the grass, because a bit of grass along the highways can also make it prettier and happier. He then moves to other aspects of nature to prove his point. He says that if you can't be a muskie, a relatively uncommon and rare freshwater fish native to North America, be a bass, but the liveliest bass in the lake. The muskie may be precious and hard to catch, but they aren't favorite of the locals. In third stanza, poet is that into the third stanza he said that we can't all be captains. We can't all be the captains. We have got to the crew. There is something for all of us here. There is big work to do and there is leisure to do. And the task you must do is the near. बघा कॅप्टन म्हणजे जहाजीचा कॅप्टन आहे बघा. क्रू म्हणजे सेलर हू वर्क ऑन द शिप म्हणजे अधिकारी सोडून इतर सर्व खालाशी. लेजर म्हणजे अनइम्पॉर्टंट स्क्रीव आहेत बघा. ते स्क्रीव म्हणजे खालाशी इथे दाखवलेत बघा या जहाजेवरती त्या पद्धतीने आहे बघा. इंटू द थर्ड स्टांजा poet said that Douglas Malloch wants us to be happy and optimistic. He says that if we can't be the captain of the ship, we can be the crew. A captain alone can't sail through the seas. We want us to know that there is always something for us and we should be proud whatever we are. He explained that in this society, every work has its own importance and no work is to be ashamed of. What would happen if everyone wanted to be the doctor or a businessman who would look after the smaller job of the society? There would be no one to keep our roads clean. There would be no one to mend our shoes. So he explained that we should do the task which is at hand rather than running towards bigger task, as every job need to be completed. Into the last stanza, poet said that if you can't be the highway means बघा big road आहे बघा. हा हायवे दिसतो इथे बाजूला चित्रामध्ये. if you can't be the highway, then just be a trail means बघा narrow path, अरुंद रस्ता इथे दाखवलेल्या पद्धतीने. if you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. Means into the last stanza, the poet said, or the poet implies that in the last stanza he further adds that if we can't be a highway, we can always be a narrow pathway. Some of the most beautiful part of the nature are led by trails, not by highways. He further adds that if we can't be the gigantic sun, we should just be a twinkling star. He says that size doesn't matter Your success will depend only on how good you are at it and if you are making noticeable contributions to the society. The poet concludes the poem reiterating that what matters is whether you are the best in your field. One thing that we should not miss is the poet's power of the observation. He has noticed it very well that the smaller and lesser important subject of nature draw our attention just like the big and important ones, when and only when they make the surrounding beautiful or give us some special feeling. We see the sun as an important celestial body, but we also stare at the stars as they make the dark sky so beautiful. We may look at the tall pine trees with awe, but we also gaze at the green peaches in the valley or on the roadside, just because they make the nature beautiful and give us a good feeling. Douglas realized this human psychology and turned to the society to share his wisdom. Similarly, we can make us prominently by being like those stars or the patches of grass, if not the sun and the pine itself. To say so, we have to make contributions that are noticeable, and for that we have to be the best in our respective field, no matter what we do. Theme of the poem is whatever we do, we should do the best of our ability. Be the best of whatever you are. Your value is not determined by size but excellence. Everybody has equal importance. Try to excel and be proud of you. Now come to the margin question. The margin question मध्ये पहिला क्वेश्चन काय आहे बघा. What is main difference between a pine tree and a scrub? त्याचा आन्सर आहे the main difference between a pine tree and a scrub is that pine tree is on top of the hill and the scrub is in the valley besides the rail. Second question is, what do people like to see along the highway? Answer is, people like to see a bit of the grass along the highway. Third question is, what is the message given at the end? Answer is, the message given at the end is that whatever you are, be the best. This is the message.